Hello and welcome, Lynx here, and we are playing a game from ATP Projects today, which already happened not so long ago, but yes, they released a new one. And what we are playing today is called Gokigen Na Schmetterlinge. I have no idea what that means. I do know one of the words is about butterflies, but that's about it. The translator was not very helpful. But, alright, the premise. The coaches of the tennis school are preparing to go to a summer camp with their students. Okay. Let's do it, shall we? I stretched out my hands as the concrete was approaching. In that instant, I saw the fence on my right and knew my shoulder would hit it. What I knew is I have to go here and... okay, never mind. There was no time to react. Ah! The impact twisted my body slightly to the left, rendering my hands useless. I hit the ground with my left shoulder. Ugh. ATP Project presents. My head bounced off the ground very slightly as my helmet deformed. Almost simultaneously, I also felt the metal hit my legs. Wait, what? Are we on a bike or something? Yeah, we are. My bicycle's momentum made it tumble on top of me, and I felt a dull hit in my ribs. Now, feeling the pressure of the bike landing on me, I knew the worst was over. Or was it? Eventual novel by Mike. I continued to slide forward, but a few milliseconds longer until everything came to a standstill. It didn't feel like I crashed too hard, but the shock always conceals injuries at first. Wait a second. This is a bicycle road. Immediately I got up, tried to move and feel my whole body to check if everything was right and I had not broken anything. My adrenaline was still high and I knew I'd not be feeling pain just yet. I started pulling my bicycle out. Okay, so he was in. I started pulling my bicycle out of the cycling path, checking it for damage. Gokigen Na Schmetterlinge. Although this was a residential area with lots of people, I was glad no one was around to see this from up close at the moment I crashed. My head was just somewhere else again. 2 or 3 seconds later, as the shock subsided and I was able to stand up, I started noticing the effects. There was a good amount of pain in my right shoulder, then slight pain in my left one. Both my knees hurt, but nothing compared to the shoulders. My right ankle felt a bit sore, and I shook my head, making sure that I wasn't getting dizzy. I'd also almost predictably scratched my left shoulder, and my left leg, as well as my left palm. That was from sliding on a pavement. Some blood, but nothing so bad that it would be significant or dripping. From my cycling backpack, I took out my water bottle and washed the dirt off the wounds. I then reached for a disinfectant spray and applied it to the scraped areas. I would leave them exposed to dry since there was no strong bleeding. Alright, that will do. I collected my bicycle from the ground. Even though I have taken a quick look before and saw no immediate visible damage, these things are quite delicate, and I could have bent some small part quite easily. I do not know if that's true. I get on, shifted some gears to check if they worked, and was happy to feel that I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. The bicycle felt as it always did. I could go on with my ride. My right knee was the only thing that annoyed me, as I felt the pain from the impact persist. Everything else might be hurting as well, but my arms and shoulders weren't strained on a bicycle. It could be very different tomorrow at the tennis court, but hopefully a good night's sleep would take care of the worst. Boom, turns out it was a devastating injury. This is the end of our career. And so on. For a short moment I considered turning around, but I had just started, and the thought of sitting at home, with the weather being so beautiful, I couldn't allow this be wasted Sunday. Welcome to Japan? Even the old railroad underpass leading to the riverbanks route that I reached just now, even that looked pretty in this light. The whole day I was preparing the 10-day summer camp that was coming up in a few weeks, and somehow, even if the children obviously knew nothing about how I spent my day, it would be strange to be their coach, teaching them about how sports connects us with the physical world, and then not use such a beautiful day to go out and live that lifestyle myself. As I reached the riverbanks, I thought just how much I was looking forward to the camp. It was almost like I myself was back in those days, when school ends and the summer holidays are just about to begin. What a good time. And create something special for our little group. I was deafened by the music that is too loud, but now it's too late to change it. It felt as though at once I'd burst into a scream. Such was the happiness inside of me, making me feel physical pressure on my lungs. For the fact that our club was finally profitable. That we had our most successful start to the season in many years. And that I finally found a second coach who really cares about the club, its purpose, and the children. Ever since last year, when I was so overwhelmed, I had to admit that I could not continue to run the club all by myself. She just appeared in my life. I hope she's the second coach. Otherwise, that would make the game kinda problematic. I turned off to the river banks, heading towards Fushenyama. I might have said it incorrectly, sorry if I did. It's a moderate climb with steeper sections. And I've grown to like it whenever I needed to let my thoughts wander. Remember, and work things out. Don't tell me you crashed again. Alright, I'll leave the spare racket on the yellow desk. Thank you. See you Monday, she said, and I paused. Thursday, yeah, Monday. Yes, Monday. Why again? I said, and stopped myself when I went to add, if anything, give me a call. Bye then. Bye. We went with the call. I left the spare racket on the yellow desk and waved goodbye to the owner of the tennis club. Even though our club was just renting tennis courts from the club that owned them, we had a very good relationship with them. So they would tell us to leave our training equipment in their equipment storage. After a few tries with other clubs, Hreidun and I were very happy with this one. Who? Hreidun. I might have said the name incorrectly as well, I guess, but I've never seen such a name. As I began my ascent, I recalled the first time I truly noticed just how much Hreidun has taken to the club. I'd almost say it was near instant, but it was her genuine interest in everything that the club stood for that truly warmed my heart. To have someone like this at my side, finally. I still remember that day. That evening, as I was taking a walk looking at Fushenyama from across the river bridge. I received a message from Haydun. It was about the flyer we want to make advertising the club. She was sending me the revised text. Ever since she joined a few weeks ago. She kept telling me how it was the design of the Help Wanted flyer that got her to just come to my office and ask if the position was still free. I read through it, realizing once again that she was now a part of everything for me. The cheerful butterflies. The flyer said.
We are a very special tennis coaching club specifically set up for children. We teach our butterflies resolve, training ethic, and the joy of tennis. Our team: Thorwald Kimura, head coach and a former top 100 nationally ranked player with 15 years of coaching experience, founder and owner of the tennis club. School. Reidun Taniguchi, certified tennis coach and active Shin Liechtenland professional player who was also competed in Mondroslavia.
What? As I read it, I recalled what the short summary of Reidun really meant. When she was 12, her family moved to Mondroslavia. She continued to play tennis and got admitted into the prestigious Lendela Ivanovich Tennis Academy in Stundemomorsk. 2 years later, however, she failed to meet the minimum performance benchmarks and had to leave. She transferred to a sports school and continued to play for one of the many clubs in the city. She became a tennis professional after graduating, occasionally competing on the national level. 3 years ago, she moved back to Shin Liechtenland, but instead of her hometown, she settled down here in Salzagoya. Okay, we are actually going with made-up locations, I guess. The backside of the flyer also had our club motto printed on it. It was a bit long, but since it was in rhyme, the children memorized it quite quickly. And I remember Reidun being the only one who asked about it when I was meeting up with various people to consider the coaching position. I wrote her that she could send it off to the print shop immediately. And we'll have that done. Those days. We're having so many things going on with the club. I don't think anyone who didn't love tennis would have the energy to deal with it all. Huh. As I continued my climb, the peaceful surroundings and increased distance from the city, I could not stop myself and think of all the moments. Little things that are now so important to me. Like that time in autumn. Yes! That's amazing! Hayden said on the phone, sounding at least as happy as I was when I got the information. I was at the city's tennis association, and together with 2 other clubs that were operating in a similar way to us, have successfully argued our case. That our club would be permitted to qualify for additional tournaments such as monthly cups. In practice, probably would not be able to qualify with our players, but we are now a regular member of the association with all the benefits that would bring with it. Seeing Raiden so genuinely happy about this, 2 months into her being with us, I could not believe that someone like this existed. Working so hard and connecting with the club in this way. Last week she has used her free time to organize a small hike on Saturday for the kids and their parents. Most of them came and they spent an afternoon together. And though I was away at that time, I was really sad I couldn't be there with everyone. And then, she... Can we video call you? The kids want to say hello. She sent me that message and almost brought me tears to my eyes. We turned our cameras on and I showed them where I was before thanking the parents for their time and doing this activity. Huh. We ended the call, and for I really wanted to thank Raiden for everything she did. It almost felt like it would be insulting to assume she didn't do it out of pure joy and wanting to strengthen the team bond. There was nothing to thank for. It was her nature. And I felt like the best thing I could do was to keep working hard myself, to honor her work. I stopped at the side of the road to fix my chain. It developed a habit of falling off when under pressure. And this climb is my preferred gear. In my preferred gear was enough for that to occur. I didn't like how it broke my rhythm, but it couldn't be helped. The chain was up within seconds, and I was ready to continue taking deep breaths as I looked around. I could not stop thinking about Hayden, and how important she was for all of us now. And with less than a month to go, it was all I could think of. Going to the training camp and her being there too. I continued up the hill, recalling what we had done with this winter. With Raiden to help with training, we're finally able to start reworking our finances. It took a lot of time and phone calls, and then unlike other winters, this year there was a shortage of indoor spaces we could use. A few times we just went training in the cold weather, but instead of normal shots practicing trick shots, I drove around the city and found some unused spaces like an old cargo depot with accessible flat space and walls to train on. And when it was snowing too much, we played Target Snowman, where one player needs to protect a snowman from being hit by snowballs using a racket. I like that, that's creative as heck! And one that the parents said the children loved most was the cookie baking class that Raiden organized in her apartment. The parents dropped off their kids after lunch on a Saturday and Raiden spent the rest of the day baking with them. And in February we all organized a theater visit with their parents as well. So, I think we still made happy memories together. I'll reach the top of the hill now. The steepest part's now behind me. And a bit of a flat section for a respite before the final climb. It is truly a beautiful day today. That's still that training so creative. Nice. I finally reached the top. Quite out of breath, but with some power reserves still. It usually took me about 1 hour to get up here. Raiden, the butterflies. It was the only thing I was thinking about these days. I was never happier than now. But now, as my heart rate went back to normal and I finished the last drop of my sports drink, it was time to go back down. And unlike the way up, be focused on the descent itself. Because a crash at the speeds I'd be going would not end as well as when it happened in the city. Yeah. And I could not leave I guess it depends on the, you know, the downhill, what angle it would be. But I imagine at certain angle, I'd probably be like constantly braking. Anyway, and I could not let everyone down by getting injured and possibly missing the camp. Now that I think about it, I should get a new bike. So for all my students and Raiden, focus. Alright. Go! Stepping the pedals, I made my way down the vineyard paths. I picked up speed almost instantly. I gripped the handlebars tighter and tilted the bike to cut the apex of the left kink in the road. At this speed the air was cooling me down dramatically and I felt a shiver across my body. At every moment I was looking ahead into the bends before me and into the areas I knew. Spotting people, obstacles, and preparing for changes of surface damaged parts of the road. And cars. I cleared the winter parts and gently pressed both brake levers to slow down ever so slightly. Both? Interesting. To be fair, I never brake front. Anyway, in anticipation of the narrow tunnel-like segment coming up before me. Within seconds, I released both levers as I arrived at the steepest part with no obstacles ahead. Salzagoya opened up in front of me, the sunset casting long shadows from behind my back. I saw every grain of gravel, felt every elevation as I arrived at the dive where the road dips sharply. And at the speed feels like the first plunge on a roller coaster. With everything clear ahead of me, I let the bike carry me like a glider. The dip spit me out on the backside of the hill, but would quickly run to the side facing the city. A right-hand corner was coming up, often with a bit of gravel, and I had to slow down the bike once more to get through it safely. Then the last full-speed section. Another tunnel-like segment with Salzagoya waiting in the distance. As it opens up, it feels like your speed has been reduced by it. Focus, focus! It is all an illusion. There isn't a millisecond margin. The city is coming closer. And the most dangerous last segment appears! The road is twisty and very steep. Already here the speed must be reduced. Otherwise there are no brakes good enough to stop you from crashing. And as Fanny let go of the brakes near the stone arches, my fingers were itching from the pressure I had to apply to slow down the momentum of the bike. And the punishingly steep downhill I had to climb up and have the chain give up on me. I reached the residential area from where the road up began. I took a deep breath, slightly relaxing my muscles in the regular riding tension. I arrived home and fixed myself dinner, by the way, yeah. I was going to try to get an early night. Gokigen. Only 3 more weeks until the summer camp would begin. To be fair, back when I was still playing football, a summer camp, that was actually something I was looking forward to. It was a good time. Everything was in place, and so the only possible uncertainty was the weather, although so far no rain has been forecast for the duration of our stay. So to be quite frank, I did not enjoy one of them. Probably... I mean, not probably, but definitely. Because at the time, we were on the camp with a group that was 1 year older. And not gonna even pretend, I'm gonna be absolutely honest, I did not like people there. I liked maybe 1 or 2 people. Other than that, it was filled with trash. Sadly enough, yeah. Anyway. Everything was in place, and so the only possible uncertainty... And we were with them because, well... our coach was also coaching them, so yeah. Anywho, everything was in place, and so the only possible uncertainty was the weather, although so far no rain has been forecast for the duration of our stay. We could now put all our attention on the last handful of regular lessons, as well as organize a kind of farewell afternoon that held a special place in my heart. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. This club that we could use on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I think it was my favorite. I like how small it was, as if tailor-made to a little group with 3 courts in total. And also like the location, in the smaller of the 2 main city parks in central Salzagoya. When I arrived, it was 3:45. I was scheduled to go over the 2nd hour of practice from Hayden. We were usually both present for training units, but sometimes we also split the sessions between the 2 of us. And occasionally only one of us would be doing the practice with the kids. but those were the rarest forms of training. Most of the time it was both us or a mid-lesson switch like today. When it was time, I stepped in with some of the children who were just collecting balls waving at me. I nodded and made brief eye contact and a faint hand gesture towards Raiden, who smiled and hinted at Gunhild's forehand. We're trying to improve. Wait, Gunhild? Gunhild, let's go. Now that I think about it, Gunhild. I feel like there was a character in one of the games we played before. Gunhild. Or was it some anime? Dude, I'm totally checking right now. I do remember the name like that. But where was it? Gunhild. No, it was definitely not a sitcom because I did not freaking watch that. I do not watch movies. I do not watch sitcoms or anything like that. Oh yeah, it's Genshin, that's true. What the... Right? Yeah. I mean, Jean is Gunhild, that's true. And also Barbara, I guess. Oh boy. I totally spaced that out for some reason. She was Gunhild, yeah. Funnily enough. Well, maybe not fully, but Gunhildr. Yeah. I do not know. I kinda spaced it out for some reason. Funny. And Barbara Gunhildr. No, Barbara is Peg. Okay. What? Wait, what? Why are they sisters and have different surnames? I mean, family, yeah. Interesting. Barbara Peg, Jan Gunhildr. The older sister of Barbara and the descendant of the prestigious Gunhild clan. Okay. I wonder why... I mean, to be fair, I never dived really into surnames and so on of characters there. I remembered there being... well, very similar name to over here. But... dude, now you got me curious. Why do they both have different family names? Jean and Barbara. I knew they were sisters, obviously. But... anyhow. She has made visible progress, although it was clear she was still too tentative with her swing. Wait, what was she? Forehand? Forehand is the easier one. I would probably be good with backhand for now that I think about it. I was better with backhand in table tennis, for example. I'm also like, I mean, I'm actually good at passing overall when it comes to football, but I have a crazy good outside of the foot control as well. Funnily enough. I did try not that far. Anyway. I've added a few extra wrist strength routines in, she said, handing me a paper printout with additional notes in pencil. She's a cutie, by the way. Krillin was working on a training plan for Dagrun, focusing on developing a one-handed backhand technique. We saw a lot of potential in how she was able to use her wrist in conjunction with it to create a lot of variety in her playing. Although most of our children primarily used a two-handed backhand. Dagrun had the ability to be slightly more forceful than most when relying on her wrists, and would open up a lot of tactical options for her in matches. Nice. We then called the children into a circle, repeated our club motto, and sent them to clean the courts to prepare for the second hour of the training. Raiden and I went back to the lounge area, and she quickly summarized the lessons for me. Alright, so we'll still focus on that, and maybe start with the alternative serves next week, I said as we agreed on the plans. And even though we did plan them out in advance, especially our monthly focus for the whole group and general areas of improvement individually. It was very important to us to make small adjustments and confirm direction again and again. Even every lesson. Even mid-lesson. Sometimes I was at a loss for words. Because I've never had someone like Raiden with whom I could do this. Ray, Ray, I said, taken back as I just now noticed tears rolling down her cheeks. It was obviously a happy moment, and for a millisecond I thought about keeping up its happy nature by lightheartedly acknowledging her tears of joy. What? But in an instant, her face, her genuine happiness. It made me take a deep breath and close my eyes. Because I was also happy. What? What? This is the reason I'm doing all of this. I said, taking a deep breath, as I could feel my empathy spiking. Many times, especially after a good practice, I felt like Raiden. But now, as the same realization set in that unlike those moments, this one I shared with her, it amplified it in a way I never knew would be possible. I never often... She said, and I felt I knew what she meant. You know, because I don't. Me too, I hope. I hope I'm able to every now and then express in some way how much I appreciate all your commitment and love for this group. It's something I would say something I never thought I would feel with someone else. But I choked up, overwhelmed by hearing the words before them spoken so plainly. Neither did I. She said as if knew exactly what I wanted to say. Well, I said, changing the tone of the conversation, making a slight head gesture towards the butterflies who were almost finished with their chores. Raiden turned around, watching them for a few seconds before smiling at me again. Have fun! She said cheerfully, with the wave of the moment that just passed making me feel as if a more pure form of this wishing could not possibly exist. Have a good swim. Huh? I said back in a similar tone. It was a bit of a guess that she'd be going for a swim, but I knew her well enough to risk it. She would often mention swimming, and a week ago she bought new goggles, and was telling me how much better they felt than her old ones that she accidentally broke. And today, it was so hot. All the public pools were open, and the tennis bag she had could easily have a towel, goggles, and a swimsuit in it. I will. There was no time to think anymore. Alright, we start in pairs. First pair we get. I still get the training underway. Raiden. Interesting. Alright, ladies and gents. I do believe this is more than one episode type of game, so we are going to end it right here, right now. And we will continue tomorrow. We'll see where this goes. Seems like, aside from training some future tennis stars, we also might have a romance on our hands. Hopefully that will turn serious. Let's find out tomorrow. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, also, consider liking the video, subscribing. If you're not subscribed yet, that's super appreciated. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram in the description if you're into that stuff. Of course, link to the game is there as well. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. And come around tomorrow too. Bye bye.